All right, let's dive into something that gets a lot of attention, but not always a lot of honest conversation. Conservative ideology. If you're a politics student, you've probably heard all kinds of takes, both for and against. But what actually drives conservative thought? At its core, conservatism is about holding on to what works. Conservatives believe that traditions, institutions, and long-standing values aren't just old habits. They're foundations that have stood the test of time. In other words, if something's survived for generations, maybe there's a good reason. Now, that doesn't mean conservatives are against change altogether, but they want change to be careful and deliberate, not rushed or radical. They argue that society is complicated, and trying to fix problems with quick, sweeping transformations can backfire. One big idea is skepticism of government power. Lots of conservatives worry that if governments get too big or too involved, they start making decisions for us instead of letting us make our own choices. That's why you'll often hear conservatives talk about personal responsibility and free markets, letting people and businesses figure things out themselves rather than relying on the state. But here's something that might surprise you. Conservatism isn't the same everywhere. In the US, it's often tied to things like limited government and individual rights. But in other countries, conservatives might focus more on preserving a monarchy or a national religion. The core idea is about stability and continuity, but the details shift depending on history and culture. Critics sometimes claim conservatism is just about resisting progress, but most conservatives see themselves as protecting society from risky experiments. They're not anti-progress, they just want to move forward without throwing away what already works. So, for example, they might support gradual reforms in healthcare or education rather than tearing down the whole system. And let's not forget, conservatism is a broad church. Some conservatives focus on economics, others on culture or morality. There's debate within conservative circles about what should be preserved and what can change. So, next time you hear someone label themselves a conservative, remember, it's not just about being stuck in the past. It's about believing that the past has lessons worth keeping and that real progress is slow, steady, and built on solid ground. Thanks for sticking with me through this quick look inside conservative ideology. If you found this useful, or if it challenged your ideas, stick around for more political deep dives.